1 year ago, your average Brawl Stars brawler ranking looked something like this. Each brawler's star powers, gadgets, gears, and other stats, along with how they would match up against other brawlers, would determine their ranking. Now fast forward to current day, a brawler ranking looks something like this. Most of the ranking is determined on whether or not a brawler has a hypercharge and how good their hypercharge is in the meta. And today, I'll be ranking the best 10 brawlers in this hypercharge meta to help you win your Brawl Stars games. Quick honorable mentions for brawlers that just barely missed the top 10: Charlie, Gray, Lou, and Jackie. As you can see, 3 out of 4 of them do have a hypercharge, so that makes them much better than they would be originally. But yeah, let's get into the list. Now at number 10, we have Cordelius. Now on release, Cord was one of the most broken brawlers of all time, but it quickly received a nerf. It is still one of the only few brawlers in the meta that's very good and doesn't have a hypercharge. The best part of all of these hypercharge brawlers is the fact that they can combine their hypercharge with their super and then be super fast, have a lot of shield, and combine it with their super, but the Cord realm takes away the fact that they can use their super, so it completely negates everything they can do. If you have a hypercharge Maisie, hypercharge Jackie running it straight at you, you can just put them in the realm and it just completely annihilates anything. It's versatile, it plays extremely well into every single meta brawler. It has 2 very good gadgets and star powers. The best loadout for Cordelius is basically entirely preference. I personally run the healing mushroom star power and jump gadget and a speed gear combined with a 4th gadget, but every single combination can basically work with Cord. It's just extremely versatile, and that's why it's so high in the meta. Now at number 9, we have Rosa. And Rosa recently has not been too good of a brawler. However, a ton of buffs. I'm talking supercharge buff, damage buff, health buff, all that. And a hypercharge has turned her into a monster. You definitely want to avoid primos if you're playing Rosa. And along with Cord, Rosa was one of the most played and banned brawlers at the World Finals, which just proves how good she really is. And she's just an insanely strong brawler in the meta. And if you don't have a wall break in your comp against her, you pretty much lose every single time. It's just impossible to deal with her roaming in the bushes. It makes it very easy for her to get both her super and her hypercharge, and if she has both her hypercharge and super combined, it just becomes a nightmare for anyone to play against. Just a very well-rounded brawler. All these brawlers in the top 10 are extremely well-rounded, and the fact that she has a hypercharge just makes her that much better. Now for her best loadout, I would recommend speed gear and the gadget gear. As the both gears, I think the gadget gear provides a lot of value because both of her gadgets are extremely useful, and adding an extra gadget just makes her that much better. And then I really like Thorny Gloves, as the extra damage in her super just makes her absolutely destroy tanks. If you are facing tanks, you 100% want to run Thorny Gloves, but if you're facing a lot of long-range brawlers, and if they're trying to stay at distance, then you could run Plant Life, which is the healing star power, which could provide some value, but I really like Thorny Gloves most of the time. And the gadget is just entirely map dependent. If there's a lot of bushes, you can just run the slow gadget, and if there's no bushes, then you can just make them with the Girl Life gadget. So if you have no bushes, then you just build them, and if you have bushes, you don't need to build them, so you just use a slow gadget. That's just pretty simple logic right there, and that's why she's just so good. Now at number 8, we have Sandy. Sandy recently just got his supercharge buff from 7 hits to 6 hits. The addition of the gadget gear and his already broken Sandy stun gadget, which stuns you for 1 second on command, got basically an extra stun. He went from 3 stuns to 4 stuns, and as well the other gears, damage gear and speed gear, are extremely broken on him. Having speed gear on Sandy just makes him such a good brawler, and the damage gear changes so many interactions. You basically have 3 extremely broken gears, which you can switch whatever preference you want. His Sandstorm being buffed provides so much value. Going from 7 hits to 6 hits, it essentially makes you get basically 1 more Sandstorm every single game, which, thinking about it like that, that's an extra 9 seconds of invisibility, which just... And in that recent update where they scaled the healths, damages, star powers, gadgets, they added a sneaky buff to Sandy's Root Sand star power, where it went from 100 damage per second to 216 damage per second, which is like a 100% damage increase, which was not supposed to happen, or I don't know, Supercell kind of low-key buffed Sandy like that. That just made him that much better, which just feeds so many Sandstorms. If you face a Sandy in this meta, it feels like they're just invisible 24/7. I hate facing Sandy. I love having a Sandy on my team. It just makes the game that much easier when you have a Sandy on your team, and that's why Sandy is at number 8. So at number 7, we have Leon. Now, Leon hasn't been in the meta for quite a while. He got nerfed really hard when he was first released. One of the best brawlers of all time. Probably the best brawler of all time with his 10-second invis, and just, he was unbelievably broken. But ever since then, he hasn't really been too good, but recently he got a hypercharge and that just completely changed everything. The best loadout for Leon is his hypercharge, obviously combined with Invisi-Heal and his mythic gear to add additional 2 seconds to his Leon super, as the Invisi-Heal heals you for around 1400 a second, and it's an extra 2 seconds, so it also buffs the Invisi-Heal. And with the hypercharge, you can shoot for a good 3 to 4 seconds as the invis stays on you even as you shoot. And with his super fast recharge for his invisibility, he can quickly get a kill, pop his invis, then go back to healing with Invisi-Heal, and within 3 to 4 seconds be full health, full ammo, ready to get another kill. And by that time, he'll probably have a hypercharge as well, just absolutely team wiping you, and there's just nothing you can do. And yeah, so basically Leon's had a pretty decent kit for a while, but adding a hypercharge just completely made him that much better, and that's why he's so good at number 7. And at number 6, we have Miko the Monkey. So Miko is actually a very interesting brawler. He has been released with a hypercharge, but honestly it's probably one of the worst hypercharges in the game, as it takes super long, and honestly the hypercharge stun doesn't really make too much of a difference in any interaction. So very little effect on the brawler. It's just very good in certain niche scenarios, but not too often are you going to find much hypercharge value. And as well, you guys may have noticed if you played him, he is a bit bugged, as damage gear, power-ups, and other power scaling things scale a little bit too high, almost like Hank did on his release when he was one-shotting everything in an 8-bit turret. So yeah, when those things get rescaled, I feel like that might change something, but overall I think his kit is still very good, and that shouldn't make too much of a difference unless he gets a serious nerf. He's just an insanely good brawler. He's unbelievably hard to kill, and his star power that takes ammo every 5 seconds just makes it so it's even harder to kill him, because he not only takes your ammo, but he gets an extra ammo himself, so he can just jump basically 4 times on you every single time he has full ammo. He's basically just a Mortis on steroids, and that's obviously broken, and on top of that he's a hypercharge. No matter how bad it is, it still is a hypercharge, so he's just that good at number 6. Now at number 5, we have Edgar. Edgar was one of the worst brawlers in the game. Even though he did win Zeta the World Finals on that final game, he was still basically useless on every single map outside of Heist. And then Supercell decided, alright, let's just make him the best brawler in the game. They gave him an absurdly good hypercharge that charged so quickly. You could just get like 5 hypercharges a game. It just entirely took him from one of the worst brawlers in the game and flipped the script and made him one of the best brawlers in the game, and honestly probably the best outside of Fang. But then his hypercharge did get nerfed a little bit, which brought him down to earth a little bit more, but he is still really good. His hypercharge is still just as good as it is originally. So the only difference in his hypercharge from when it was originally released is that it takes 4.5 supers now instead of 2.5, something like that. So not too big of a difference, just enough to bring him down a little bit. But if you still are smart with his hypercharge now, you can still make just as many plays as you used to. It's just a very good hypercharge. If you play the hypercharge smart enough, you can get a team wipe every single time. It is that good. You can chain between 4 and 5 supers I've done before, just get the entire team dead, get a goal, get all the gems, whatever game mode you are playing. It's just absurdly good. His supercharging gadget combined with his supercharged gear not only can charge his super extremely quick, but also his hypercharge. So even though they did nerf the supercharging on the hypercharge, you still get it quite often. And I'll just let you guys know, Edgar would be absolutely nothing without his hypercharge, but his hypercharge is just that good that he's at number 5. So at number 4, we have Bo. Now, Bo has been slowly creeping up in the meta as an underrated brawler. He's been just around average brawler for the longest time until he got a massive buff in the recent update to his damage, which makes him just melt every single brawler in the game. Super versatile brawler. He can break walls. He's always been able to do a lot of damage. He has a good gadget in the totem, and the tripwire also can provide a lot of value. You can even make some nice trick plays by stunning them in with all the gems, or getting a triple stun on the entire team as they just don't know where it is. But anyways, he does not have a hypercharge, which is the reason why he's not higher on this list, because if he did have one, he'd probably be at number 1 at this point, as his hypercharge would just make him unbelievably good. So yeah, lucky for us, he doesn't have one at the moment. But yeah, his damage output is just somewhere around 4,000 to 5,000, I think, depending on damage gear for just one shot, which is 3 arrows, which means he can just 3-shot every single brawler in the game, which not many brawlers can do that. So that's very good, especially for Bo. He's a long-range brawler. A long-range brawler doing that much damage is unheard of. So yeah, Bo just does a ton of damage, and that's why he's at number 4. And at number 3, we have Fang. Now, Fang just always seems to be one of the best brawlers in the meta. He's just on release, he was broken. Now he's broken. He's always he's always just a walking team wipe. He is literally the definition of a walking team wipe. As long as you have a Fang super, you can just make anything happen on the map. I can't count the amount of times I've wanted to just break my iPad, break my phone, whatever I was playing on, after being team wiped by a Fang and then just straight up losing the game. It's infuriating. And just to say, that was before they added one of the best hypercharges in the game to him. And then not only that, the hypercharge removes his only weakness, which was walls, and allows him to just go straight through walls while he's just destroying your team and team wiping them in half a second. The nerf to his hypercharge also just wasn't enough. The same with Edgar. It's still just way too good. They need more of a nerf. I hope those nerfs come sometime soon. He's just been such a scary brawler, and facing it is just one of the worst things in Brawl Stars. I do not like facing Fang. I don't think anyone likes facing a Fang. And yeah, just everything about him is just infuriating, and that is why he needs a nerf, and he's at number 3. Now at number 2, we have Maisie. Now Maisie does have the potential to be the number 1 on this list, but I have her slightly below the number 1 brawler, which you guys can probably guess who it is. And yeah, she was a terrible brawler on release. She was one of the worst brawlers probably of all time. I did not like playing her. She was never played in competitive. Just as bad as Doug was, basically. We need to give Doug some love, just like Maisie got some love. But after getting buffed so many times in every single update, she finally became one of the best brawlers in the game, and then got a hypercharge, which is the biggest buff of them all. So she just rose all the way from the bottom to the top, and is just terrorizing everyone in the game. She has a quick supercharge rate, which makes for also a fast charging hypercharge, which means she just always has a super and a hypercharge combo ready at will, which is just so deadly. If you can get a good combo with your gadget and super, it makes Maisie just so much better. And combining it with the slow star power, which is what I think is the best part of her kit, that is what I think needs the nerf. I think the slow going from 2 seconds to 1 second would definitely make it much easier, because it feels like as soon as she hits you with your super, you're dead every single time. She just hits you twice, and that's all your health gone. And at that point, if you're not gone, you have another super raining down on you. And at that point, she probably has a hypercharge as well. So yeah, Maisie is one of the most fun brawlers in the game, but she is in desperate need of a nerf, just like basically every single brawler on this list, especially the ones that have a hypercharge, and that's why she is at number 2. But you guessed it, at number 1 is Kit. Kit, just being the best brawler in the game, speaks for itself. Kit is just a brawler you never ever wish to face in a game. At this point in this meta, it's almost like you either have him on your team or you're losing to him every game. And if you think it's bad now, just wait until the early access is gone, because that's just gonna make it that much worse. Everyone's gonna have him. He's gonna be everywhere. He either has the choice to jump on someone and stun them on command from across the map, and it's not even that hard to hit. You literally just aim within 5 tiles of them and it hits every single time. Or he can just jump on his teammate and make them invincible while dropping 4,000 bombs. And if his teammate gets any time low, he can just heal him with the cheeseburger gadget, give him like 5,000 HP. They'll never ever die. And if he doesn't want to use that gadget, he can use the portable Leon Invis as a gadget. I don't know how a Leon Invis is a gadget, but that just makes him that much better. He is so good. I'm just thankful he wasn't added with a hypercharge, because that would be awful.